Yo, man, I should have saw, he told me he should have saw this coming with Cassie and the way he treated women when he slapped his mother. And I was like, he did what?
Yo, I did it. Told my he want receipts. Let's start with your mother, nigga. Your mother got the receipts. Everything is in your mother's name. That's the one who got the receipts.
Y'all, so it looks like the situation with Diddy just goes deeper than we could have ever imagined, because Jaguar Wright is coming out to reveal that Diddy has been bad for ages. According to Jaguar, Diddy was allegedly abused by his mom as a child, and this explains why he seems to hurt women so much. Allegedly, he has some super creepy relationship with his mom, where she allegedly helps him hide his true nature and encourages him to mistreat women. The wild part here is that there are fresh allegations about Diddy's relationship with his mom, and his former bodyguard, Gene Deal, just came out to reveal that Diddy put hands on his own mother and left her roughed up like his women. Y'all need to get in on this tea, but it's going to be a wild ride. Did his mom really leak the Cassie video to CNN?
I said, Kirk, let me tell you something. I said, Kirk, don't you remember when I told you when he cussed his mother out? And I think it was even that, Kirk, when we was getting in the limousine, he cussed his mother out. He told his mother to stay out of his mofo business. And I told him, man, you ever talk to your...
Y'all, it looks like we fin have some answers on Diddy's behavior and why he is the way he is, cause y'all, he messed up big time, even though he apologized and has been going over and beyond to try to convince us that he is not the bad guy that we saw that he is. But with these recent allegations and revelations, even he can't deny that he is as bad as we think. Interestingly, though, Cassie was the one who started the situation with her lawsuit in November last year, and she is the one who was ending it in November last year. She boldly came out to face Diddy and filed a lawsuit where she exposed him for mistreating her for every single year and dang near day of the 11 years that they were dating. Y'all, at this point, you can't even call it dating because it was more of a hostage situation. Cassie tried to leave the painful relationship multiple times, but Diddy held her under his thumb and refused to let her leave. Diddy and Cassie first started dating when she was only 19, and he was well into his 30s by then. Now, that was already a red flag. But it gets worse when you realize that she was signed to his label Bad Boy Records. So in addition to him being way older than her, he also was sort of her boss. And that blew it up from being a big red flag to being an entire red banner. Now, I know that the age gap relationships aren't always that bad, but this one was a hot mess because, like I said, let Cassie tell it, it was a hostage situation in Cassie's lawsuit. She laid out how badly he hurt her in the relationship. And from what she said, it was clear that she was unhappy and in pain throughout the relationship. The court documents were more than 30 pages long, and it had a trigger warning on the first page. Now, if y'all know anything about court documents, it's that they often contain all sorts of wild and crazy details. So it's wild that the court officials thought that Cassie's description of the way Diddy treated her was so horrible that it required a trigger warning. The trigger warning was definitely needed because the things that Cassie outlined were definitely triggering. The Chi documents said that he saw Miss Benter in her own home after she tried to leave him, often punched, kicked, and stumped on Miss Benter, resulting in bruises, burst lips, black eyes, and bleeding. Fork Miss Benter to engage in intimate acts with male A3USED while getting off on it and filming the encounters, demanded that Miss Benter to carry his arm in her purse just to make her uncomfortable and demonstrate how dangerous he is, and introduced Miss Benter to a lifestyle of excessive alcohol and substance, and required her to procure illicit prescriptions to satisfy his own addictions. The lawsuit also revealed that Diddy to put his hands on her for every minor reason, like the time when they were heading home after a party with Jay-Z. In the lawsuit, it said Mr. Combs Miss Benter repeatedly in an escalade, including by kicking and hitting her. He forced her out of the vehicle on 5th Avenue in New York City. She was eventually able to hail a cab and get to her apartment in Manhattan. There's also the time that Diddy got mad at her for trying to speak to a music producer in a nightclub because she was trying to take her career to the next level. He got so mad that when they left the club, Mr. Combs Miss Benter pushing her into a corner of the vehicle and stumping on her face. When the car arrived at Mr. Coles's residence, Miss Benter attempted to run away. Mr. Combs followed her and proceeded to again kick her in the face. Miss Benter was bleeding profusely and was ushered into Mr. Combs' home, where she began to throw up from the incident. Now, apart from putting hands on her, he also went over and beyond to control her, while at the same time going over and beyond to hide his bad behavior from the world, because he didn't want people to know what kind of person he really was behind the scenes. He hit Cassie so badly that she started to experience issues with her memory, but that still didn't make him stop. The documents said on multiple occasions Mr. Combs had Miss Benter's personal medical records sent directly to his email address, For instance, when Miss Venter began experiencing memory loss potentially due to excessive drug use or head injuries caused by Mr. Combs' beatings as described below, her MRI results were provided directly to Mr. Combs. Mr. Combs also repeatedly arranged for his staff to drive Miss Venter to certain doctor's appointments. Cassie was not the only woman who he treated so badly, because it turns out that he was treating every single one of his exes just as badly as he did Cassie. And I'm not even talking about cheating, because everybody knows that Diddy was slinging it across town without any remorse. But I'm talking about the physical violence that he dished out to his exes without mercy. For example, when he was with his very first baby mama Misa Hilton, he was insanely violent towards her, and he would put hands on her at every slightest issue. He even put hands on her in public, and his former bodyguard Gene Deal talked about a time when Diddy put hands on Misa so badly that she tried to hide under a car.
She was out there. She was messing with the dude from EPMD. That's why Puff first beat her ass.
Y'all know how bad this situation had to be for Misa to have tried to hide and squeeze herself under a car. And don't even get me started on how he deliberately denied paternity of their son Justin just so he could spite her, even though he was the one who was being violent towards her and cheating on her with half the women in Hollywood. Then we have Kim Porter, who he has 4 kids with. It was the same story with Kim, because he often hit her and left her with bruises on her face and body, like the time he broke her nose during an argument. There's also this article from 2005 about the event, saying Diddy calls girlfriend Kim Porter was left with the broken nose after couple argued on Combs' yacht, and Sandro Pay Combs flew in a specialist plastic surgeon from Geneva after the accident. Porter has since claimed that she hurt her face after she banged her nose on a table. Reports havoc that he continued to rough him up. And there are new allegations that he allegedly forced her to lick Cassie's used tampon. That is a whole other level of demonic evilness. For some context, there was a bit of an overlap between Cassie and Kim, where Diddy kept Cassie as a side piece. But then y'all need to remember that Cassie was a victim at the same time that Kim was. Eventually, Kim started fighting back at Diddy, and Gene Deal revealed that she fought back hard.
When they were at home at Kim's house on 110th Street, he wanted to, put his hands on her in the wrong way. And Kim took one of those corkscrews and ripped his wrist up and hit an artery. And when she did that, he had to rush over to St. Luke's Hospital.
Don't even get me started on the other 3 women who filed lawsuits against him, accusing him of allegedly seeing them from the early 90s. He wasn't a celebrity at the time, nor was he rich. So this means that he has always been cruel to women, and it wasn't a situation of money changing him or him letting the fame get to his head or anything like that. The women who filed the lawsuit after Cassie, Joey Dickerson Neal, claimed that Diddy allegedly drugged her by spiking her drink, and then he allegedly essayed her. She claimed that he had been on her case begging her to go on a date with him. However, the lawsuit claimed that she had already turned him down and all his advances because she had heard about his reputation and how he allegedly treated women. But she eventually decided to go on a date with him. That's when things started to go wrong. According to reports, the complaint alleges Combs intentionally Dickerson Neal, leaving her unable to stand or walk. The suit said she left her drink and attended with him at the restaurant. And afterward, under alleged pressure from Combs, she took a hit from a blunt. They then drove to a music studio. The suit stated when Dickerson Neal couldn't exit the car, Combs allegedly took her to a place he was staying to saw her. According to the filing,